Well, folks, Los Angeles is burning again, and this time the Democrats can't blame police brutality or systemic racism. What started as immigration protests has now exploded into full-scale urban warfare, with anarchists torching $500 million vehicles, looting stores from Nike to T-Mobile, and attacking police officers with rocks and bottles. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell just admitted these are not spontaneous protests. These are professional agitators, the same hooded thugs who travel from city to city spreading chaos. They're burning American flags, chanting anti-American slogans, and waving foreign banners while Democrat leaders like Karen Bass make excuses. Now, the footage we're about to show you is shocking, disturbing, and absolutely real. So keep watching. Just like LA's burning streets expose the fragility of Democrat-run cities, our bodies face daily attacks that break us down over time. Collagen production drops dramatically after 40, declining 1% yearly. It's the protein that keeps your skin firm and joints flexible and hair strong, and without it, you see wrinkles, sagging, and pain. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. 5 collagen types from 4 premium sources, hydrolyzed for maximum absorption. No clumping, no odor, just results. Clean ingredients only, no GMOs, gluten, or antibiotics, or hormones. Plus, every order feeds hungry children through NoKidHungry.org. So get 51% off at healthwithgary.com. That's healthwithgary.com, and restore your body's foundation today. You'll find it linked in the description. All right. What you're witnessing in Los Angeles is not a protest. It's an insurrection. And unlike the narrative the media sold you for years, this time it's their side doing the insurrecting. I'm going to show you exactly what Democrat leadership has allowed to happen in America's second largest city. We begin with the shocking footage of mass looting in downtown LA. While Gavin Newsom claims that everything's under control, criminals are ransacking businesses with zero police response. This is what Democrat governance looks like. Watch.
Hey!
And that footage is tame. No police in sight, though. Just brazen criminality in broad daylight, but it does get much worse. Much worse. The next video is going to make your blood boil. A woman whose family was killed by illegal aliens tried to counter-protest peacefully. And watch what these peaceful protesters did to her. Yeah, it's horrible. Watch.
What? What's up? Somebody hold my hand. What's up? Get the fuck what's up? 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 I get the fuck out of here. There you go. You ain't got to get out of here. Take that. Take that from bitch.
People trying to get through. Watch out.
Pass me, you stupid ass bitch.
Oh yeah, leader.
What? What's that gonna do? Nothing. You fucking immature ass.
You better back up.
What?
What's up?
What? What's up?
And the one guy just standing there smiling. Hey, he's like watching it all. He's just overjoyed with the footage he's collecting.
Hey, get out of here! Hey, you get the fuck out of here! Drop
That's who the Democrats are protecting. Violent thugs who assault grieving Americans, but the chaos was only beginning. Here's where it turns into pure anarchy. A shirtless maniac in a minivan starts doing reverse donuts trying to run over protesters. The scene is absolute madness as people scatter and throw rocks at the vehicle. Sheriff's deputies finally stop him, but not before, well, multiple fatalities. Watch.
Right. Wow. Yeah, it did get out of control with the overpass on Spring Street, with the CHP vehicles, with the Waymo vehicles, like you said, over in Alero Street area. But what we're seeing now these are anarchists. These are not law-abiding citizens. These are people that want to cause problems, and they've come into L.A. to do so.
Wow. And as you're saying that, we're watching somebody who is
so fast that he's going to run somebody over because there's just so many pedestrians running around, so many people with their phones out. This guy's already hit multiple things. You see the bumper damage almost hitting that vehicle head on, and people are continuing to throw rocks at him. This is Alameda and Cesar Chavez. I think that guy was trying to go up to the driver's door. More people throwing things at this vehicle. Again, we don't know.
Hard. There are people out in front of him.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
Oh,
okay.
no. I thought he was going to hit the motorcycle.
It looked like he was aiming for him.
Yeah. This person is clearly upset.
Officers now responding. These are sheriff's deputies. They're putting him in custody right now. There he goes. That is the end of that escapade. We don't know if anyone got hurt. We lost track of him for a while.
And this is what happens when law and order completely breaks down. People lose their minds. And speaking of losing minds, here's some cell phone footage from another angle. Watch.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The Los Angeles apocalypse in full effect, but here's where it gets expensive for taxpayers. The anarchists figured out how to weaponize technology against us. They're actually using the Waymo app to lure self-driving cars into protest zones, then torching the vehicles worth $600,000 each. Your tax dollars will end up paying for this destruction. Watch. Multiple Waymo vehicles turn into flaming monuments to Democrat failure. Each one costs more than most Americans' homes, burned for fun by criminals who face no consequences. Not one Democrat has condemned this violence, not one. Instead, they attack Trump for sending help. Watch as these thugs assault our law enforcement officers from above, throwing rocks at cops just trying to restore order. Watch. These officers risk their lives while Democrat politicians call them the problem. It's disgusting. And the looting, it's spreading like wildfire. Now, I do want to get to something here because we have this footage that was just sent to me by Edward Zoll, who is on the ground in Los Angeles. 9 minutes ago, he posted this. Everyone seems to be on standby for something to happen as the last moments of the day trickle away. All quiet by the federal building in downtown Los Angeles. Hear the ghetto birds flying overhead. 23 minutes ago, he posted this: the calm before the storm in Los Angeles. At least 5 helicopters are seen circling the federal building downtown that is currently being protected by LAPD and recently nationalized California National Guard. The feeling in the crowd and amongst law enforcement is that the attitude of the new shift of protesters who are only now getting off work and heading into the city will determine whether tonight LA burns or the uneasy stalemate continues. He will be reporting on the ground tonight, and we'll be tracking. So we'll be checking back with Ed's feed throughout the evening. But after hitting Nike and Adidas, they moved on to T-Mobile. Here's some more footage capturing the exact moment that they broke in. Listen to the fear in the bystanders' voices as businesses board up, terrified that they're next. Watch.
The dudes doing these street takeover things look scary. So they're, oh, I think they're looting that. Oh, yeah. I think they're trying to get into that T-Mobile. Oh, yeah, they are. They're breaking into this T-Mobile right here.
Meet you prior to location in an older model white Toyota 4 will direct the subject.
Oh, shoot. They just got in.
5 years. Monitor comments. Discuss the incident. 8.
They're looting this T-Mobile store. Dude, that's bad. Can you hear it?
Ambulance traffic pedestrian involved. Santa Monica, Gordon, code 3, incident 3776, RG 667.
Yeah, this just got super sketch right here.
DUI involved. Manchester and Fordham. Code 2, incident 3731 and RD 1474. In the town to identify.
First, name and Broadway and first has been contained.
16, do you have a squad that can go in Broadway? Yeah.
Shoot, now they're shooting fireworks. Oh, damn. Damn. Oh, that's not good. And they're setting fires. All the trash cans are going up right now too. Oh shoot. Alright, I'm gonna try to leave some space in case we need to be out. It sounds like one of the Fed guys is over here to my left calling for tear gas.
Business owners watching their livelihoods destroyed while leaders do nothing. Here's another angle of the T-Mobile looting. Watch.
I want a teddy bear.
But here's the smoking gun. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell just revealed the truth about who's behind the chaos. These aren't concerned citizens. They are professional anarchists funded by dark money. Listen to his shocking admission. Watch.
But when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people that we see during the day who are legitimately out there exercising their First Amendment rights and to be able to express their feelings about the immigration enforcement issue. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face masks on. They're people who do this all the time, get away with whatever they can, go out there, from one civil unrest situation to another, using the same or similar tactics frequently, and they are connected. Some would call them anarchists or by any other variety of names, but they're people that we run across routinely city to city, and this is what they do. So even more disgusting that many of the people who are doing this come in from other places just to hurt people and to cause havoc.
Professional agitators who travel city to city, all hooded up using the same tactics. This reeks of Soros money. Organized, funded, and designed to burn American cities. And what is the media response? Excuse-making and fear. Listen to the panic in their voices as they realize Trump won't let this continue because they know their lawless party is over. Watch.
Get your latest thoughts as we see the smoke billowing in Los Angeles right now. Tomorrow this will be politicized, further politicized. It's already been politicized. What are you expecting, and what obligation do leaders in California and elsewhere have to set the right tone, to speak with clarity in this moment about really what's at stake and at risk here?
I think we heard Mayor Bass trying to do some of this, right, which is to say we have a long tradition of peaceful protest in this country, and we need to protect peaceful protest, and that it has a place, and that law enforcement will also have to protect people and property. That's appropriate. But I think it also has to be clear that when you violate people's rights.
Peaceful protest, she says.
And then when you don't allow for civil disobedience, that what you will get is exactly these images. And so it's critically important to, one, make sure the LAPD, which is the primary first line of keeping the peace, is being peaceful itself.
Former DHS Secretary Chad Wolf schools CNN on reality. While they worry about process, American cities burn. He reminds them what real leadership looks like. Watch.
Well, again, I think this is an interesting debate. We're very concerned, and your reporting last segment was very concerned about rules of engagement and what President Trump is doing. What you're not reporting on is the violent and the destruction that's occurring there in L.A. What you're not reporting on are the criminal aliens that are being removed off the streets of Los Angeles. I think that is really, really important.
I hear you.
If that doesn't, or if that continues, then you're obviously going to have more and more law enforcement in there. Look, National Guard is trained to do this type of behavior. We saw it during the first Trump. We've seen it during the L.A. riots back in the early 90s, I believe. They know how to do this mission. They know how to go in there, obviously protect law enforcement, making sure that individuals have that First Amendment right to protest. But look, if they're going to cross that line, then they'll obviously take action.
Right. And I don't think anyone here in our conversation is arguing that if anyone breaks a law, that they shouldn't be held accountable. And certainly we have shown that on our show as well. I think there are real questions, though, about now that the National Guard, these National Guard troops have been federalized. Sure. What are their orders? And when are, now they're under the federal government. So what are their orders? And when are they supposed to engage? And when do they use lethal force?
Well, my experience tells me that when local law enforcement there becomes overwhelmed, when you have 200 or several hundred other agitators and folks that are crossing the line from nonviolence to violent protest, that's when you're going to get the National Guard engaged.
Even MSNBC admits their legal challenges won't work. They know Trump has the authority, and they're terrified he will use it. Yes. Watch them squirm.
In the last segment before the commercial break, you predicted that something that Governor Gavin Newsom said indicated was a precursor to a lawsuit. Actually, the lieutenant governor of California was on another network recently and said this is a crisis ginned up by Trump. We are likely going to see a lawsuit tomorrow, recognizing that Trump did not have authority to call in the National Guard for 400 people protesting in a way that local law enforcement could clearly handle. So, seems like your prediction was right. What is the likelihood of winning such a lawsuit?
How does that get adjudicated and by who? Who's going to make that determination that this is something that is within the realm of the presidential authority?
Well, again, it's going to be a lawsuit that's going to be based on statutes, right? This is statutory, and it's covered by, so you have posse comitatus, you have Insurrection Act, you have all these different statutes. So here's what's going to happen. It's going to go to court. I think, it's hard to predict because like anything, it's also how far it goes in the court system and what happens on appeal. If they get a temporary restraining order or an injunction, we know what our Supreme Court looks like. It is very much a captured court in my view, and I would worry a little bit about how it would rule. Whenever it talks about presidential authority, it seems to like the president.
And joining us now, Michael Alero, friend of mine and a D.C. insider, here to break down what we are witnessing taking place in Los Angeles. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Gary. It's always a pleasure to be on Next News Network, and congratulations again to your White House credentials. It's only a testament to your base and your movement that you truly have the pulse of the grassroots across America. Now let's get into it, folks. I'm from Los Angeles, and when I grew up in LA in 1991, it was the famous riots, the Rodney King riots. And where did that place actually happen? Just 2 blocks away from Alameda Street, the exact same street where the protesters seemed to have control over the Los Angeles Police Department, actually the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the Highway Patrol. And what's significant about Alameda is that right when you exit on Alameda, you're entering the city of Compton. The city of Compton where, all the hip hop artists, raves about how violent it is. And sadly, still today, it is a violent city. City of Compton, Inglewood. You also have Pico Rivera right next to the Long Beach Harbor. There's nothing but gangsters and truckers that are coming in and out of these neighborhoods. And to me, it's not by surprise that you would have protesters show up in droves of number to go out there and engage the population about their voice, right? But truth be told, anyone that lives in Los Angeles, when are you ever going to walk down the streets of Alameda or Martin Luther King Boulevard? Never. Why? Because it's the deadliest street in America to live in, to work in. It is very, very scary, very, very hostile, and nobody that even lives there is going to walk amongst those streets. So I find it ironic that it's appalling to me how you would have tens of thousands of people to all of a sudden feel safe to want to walk in the most deadliest streets in America to protest right now against the police department, right now against Homeland Security. And the reason why these protesters, I believe, like we have seen from time to time again, with my time with the Trump campaign, my time working closely with law enforcement, there in LA County Sheriff's. Once upon a time when I was there as an explorer and community, activist and involved working alongside as an EMT in LA. I'm here to tell you folks that these organized protesters have the ear from the city council and they have the ear of their city mayor that there will be stand down orders. There won't be any arrests carried out, giving free rein to cause havoc and chaos. And so I'm calling on Kash Patel, FBI director. You need to open up an investigation at every city, on every single mayor, every single council member, and seeing what's being said to these 501c3s, to these 501c4s, what money is pouring into these nonprofit organizations. Are these protesters paid activists? Because if they are, they're carrying out acts of terrorism, and we need to call it as it is, and we need to open up an investigation on every single city council member and every single mayor to see if there's any illegal engagement with funneling, a protest that's really to derail the Trump administration, to undermine our America first, our putting our law enforcement officers lives at risk, and it's just not fair. And right now, Kash Patel, you need to open up an investigation because we need to know, the public needs to know exactly what's being said amongst these city mayors and these city council members. Because look, at the police chief, they want to follow the law. I would like to believe that.
Well, Michael, you just brought up the chief. Right. Okay, we just played a clip of the LAPD chief, Jim McDonnell, who literally just said who's behind all the chaos. He even said they're not concerned citizens. They're professional anarchists funded by dark money, and it reeks of Soros because they're traveling city to city using identical tactics, organized and ready to destroy these cities. So,
well, here's the thing. It also is, too, the dark money that's coming in. Is it foreign money? Is it foreign money from Mexico? Is it foreign money that's coming from Central America? Where is this money? Because if it is, this is a violation of the Foreign Registration Act, the exact same Registration Act that went after Paul Manafort, put him in prison, and all the Trump connectors were business people, insiders, that was just trying to help the economy, and the Democrats have unleashed FARA, and it's the exact same thing. I want to call out FARA. I'm smelling FARA violation all across the lines. These 501c3s are getting paid, or if they're not being paid, they're advocating on foreign policy that they want to change our American policy. They're being driven by a foreign principle and saying why these deportations cannot be carried out, and that is a violation of the Foreign Registration Act.
When we spoke earlier today, you said, or you alleged, that these so-called protests, they're starting with this, like an actual protest, like people in the streets and they're marching or whatever, but it's like they're setting it up so that they're waiting for it to explode. And they chose that specific area of Los Angeles for a reason. Could you expound on that for our viewers?
Yeah. So if you all watch music here, right? You guys listen to music. You guys remember Sublime, right? Remember when Sublime came out? It talked about there'll be riots in the streets of Los Angeles. There'll be riots in Alameda. It talks about periodically all throughout the hip hop generation, through the 90s, through the 80s, and in these neighborhoods, it's segregated neighborhoods. So if you're Hispanic, you hang out with the Hispanics. If you're black, you hang out with the blacks. If you're white, you hang out with the whites. Even if you're a black wearing blue, obviously you're a Crip. If you're a black wearing red, then you're wearing red. And law enforcement, and having my little time there working in Compton as an EMT, I worked in the private sector in Compton, worked for Acer and Samsung and LG as a distributor there as well. My time in Los Angeles, if you see any time you see a mixed race in particularly on Alameda Street, you're going to pull them over because there's going to be a drug deal, there's going to be an exchange, you're going to frisk because people do not, cross arms, and they don't mingle down there. If there's any kind of mingling, there's most likely it's going to be an illegal activity. And the reason why they're picking out these places, again, historically, right by Alameda, within a half a mile away, is where the Rodney King riots played out. It's where Rodney King was beaten down by the police in 1991. It's where Black Lives Matter, where they really turned it on. They rioted throughout the streets. The hands up, don't shoot. All of the most historic protests has always happened on Alameda Street. And so I just find it that ironically that you will have these protesters go ahead and barricade police officers and stoning them and causing havoc down there. It's just, is it by surprise? Is it conspiracy? I think not. I think what they do is they organize them. They have them come in these very much violent areas. And these people that are living in these areas, they have nothing to lose. They're on governor assistance, and next thing you know, they're getting paid hundreds of dollars, and they're told that, you can unleash hell on the police. Most of them been to jail many, many times. They don't care to go back. And so if this is that one time where they can say F the police and take a rock and throw it at a police officer's head, they will do so. So I believe that these hostile environments that these these protesters are walking into, what they're doing is they're pawning to the poor people and and sorry to say it, but the uneducated, the gangsters, these looters, and they're trying to create a match. And so it will explode. They want to terrorize Los Angeles. They want these streets to burn down. We've seen it time and time again. Remember, and when Rodney King riots happened in 91, they would go, and I remember as a child, you would see stores and it was spray painted. They would say, white owned, black employed, no one would touch it. They would say Hispanic owned, but black employed, no one would touch it. But they would say Korean owned, no black employees, they burn it down. And so that's what the whole riots was about. It was about, the stressors on accessory cities, the blacks and Hispanics like myself doesn't have the ability to work. And so historically, if you want to have an explosion in the city, you got to have it one place. And this high, volatile, criminal enterprise city where it's literally run by drug lords and mafia, prostitution, you name it. I mean, they don't even rest in Alameda Street prostitution. It's almost legalized because it's that infested with just crime.
Okay, so I want to ask you this question, last question before we go. I got some more news I got to break down here. But you had mentioned something on the phone about the jurisdictions. You've got the California Highway Patrol. We saw the footage of them on the overpass throwing rocks, and then you have Los Angeles Police Department. Obviously, they weren't on the highway. It was California Highway Patrol.
I know where you're going with Gary.
So what's going on with the jurisdiction, and then of course with Donald Trump's response to bring in the National Guard and Marines?
Okay, so what people need to understand is that by Alameda Street, where that exit is at, you're entering Compton area, right? So Compton used to have their own police department. Then it took over to LA County Sheriff's Department. But the thing about it is, on every single day operation, you'll have anywhere from 3 to 5 patrolmen, usually about 3 patrolmen during the day and 5 patrolmen at night. And so the thing is that when you're having this sanctuary city, we don't have taxpayers paying tax money to the local city ordinance or at the state level. So what happens is it comes a crisis because the way our taxpayer system's meant to play out is that we're supposed to have to pay taxes so we can have law enforcement, enough to cover the city and what they need. So when there's a shortage of police officers, then the police chief will go on and talk to the corporate America or international corporate and say, hey, hey Acer, hey Samsung, hey LG, hey, China, we will protect your assets as long as you can fund a police officer, and we'll make sure that at your warehouse or at your Walmart, that police officer will never leave that beat unless it's a crisis. And so what you're having 3 or 4 officers that are just assigned to protect the rich and powerful corporate America and international corporations, from looters, from rioters, from theft. And that's all their job is. And what it does is leaves one patrolman for the people to patrol. And unless there's a call for backup, then they can leave the beat, but immediately they have to go back. So because there's this shortage crisis that's happening imposed by sanctuary cities, you're having the state level, you have Highway Patrol now gets deployed all throughout the state of California to respond in Los Angeles. And that's why you're seeing the Highway Patrol that's been called by Gavin Newsom to respond there. But a lot of these people, they never worked a single day in LA. They never worked a single day in Compton or Inglewood or Pico Rivera, where there's MS-13, there's these prostitution. They're coming probably from Sacramento or Death Valley or places where slow traffic in Temecula or San Diego. And now they're getting to this chaos scene, and now everyone's trying to figure out what's going on in the backyard. And it looks like to me, just from seeing everything playing out in the media like everyone else, is that these protesters deliberately planned peaceful protesters to go down there because they knew it was going to start a match with those that are infested in crime. And the police and law enforcement is disorganized, running around with their head cut off because they don't know what the hell to do. Now President Trump employs the National Guard. He employs, the United States Marines. But we have never seen anything like this happen in our recent American history. As a former Marine myself, how does a Marine collaborate with, LAPD, LA sheriffs? You have highway patrolmen. Who's in charge? Who takes leadership? Who's taking from what orders? And who has the resting authority and ability to interject? Is it the FBI? Is it Homeland Security? So we're having 6, 7 agencies showing up to a fist fight, and who takes charge and who pulls the trigger? Because eventually the people are going to have to retrieve. Eventually the people are going to have to go home. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen because I believe that it's a SHI blank show right now. And we need people in Washington that can truly understand the backbone of Los Angeles and take a grip. Someone needs to take leadership. But mark my words, you can bring in the Coast Guard. Not Coast Guard. You can bring in the Marines. You can bring in, the National Guard. All of that doesn't matter, because as long as those protesters feel that their city mayor, their city councilman got their back, they're going to continue to throw that rock. And so Castile needs to immediately open up an investigation, and that includes on this sitting mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who we know is a Marxist, and the relationship between her police chief. That police chief's oath is to the law and law and order and to the Constitution, and it's directed by the mayor. But his oath is beyond the mayor; it's to the Constitution. And if he's going to violate the Constitution, that police chief needs to go to jail. That's the bottom line, and we need to send a hard message. As soon as the police officers and as soon as the police chiefs know that they're going to go to jail for colluding with terrorist organizations by taking marching orders from Marxist socialist mayors across America to allow this riot and chaos to happen, as soon as they know consequences on their hands, trust me, they will start following the law, and these protesters will start going away. So,
Michael, I want
administration needs further action. Go ahead.
Right now, on the screen, this is footage that was shot just a few moments ago in Los Angeles. This was shot by Ed Zoll. He says everyone seems to be on standby waiting for, the next order. And stick around because I want to get your take on this because we got a clip here from CNN of Dana Bash. All right, so stand by because nothing exposes the media bias like Dana Bash defending rioters carrying foreign flags while attacking American cops. And Senator Mullen sets her straight with facts she can't handle. So, Mike, stick around. We're going to play this clip and get your take.
They were literally out there protesting, carrying a foreign flag. That is absolutely insane. I mean, they're not just peaceful protesters. These are illegals. These are exactly why the president is trying to secure our border.
All right. Well, carrying a flag is not illegal, as you know. And I just want to be clear.
I just want to be flag while you're attacking law enforcement. It's pretty bad.
That's a different question. But I just want to just state for the record that what did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot that went all across the city of Los Angeles after a verdict in the Rodney King case. This is a situation where the LA County Police, it's not good, but they're saying that they have it under control, and the president is sending national troops, federal troops, in a way that
we can look at
hasn't
this
been
and
done
we
in
can
a long
obviously
time.
see that it is not under control. It's not under control. You and I both can see that. It's not under control. And a riot is a riot. They're throwing all types of objects at law enforcement, and the president is absolutely right. I can't say this enough. This is why the American people elected President Trump, because we are moving in the right direction.
So a riot's a riot, and these people hate America, which brings us to the most disgusting footage yet. Now, before we get to it, Michael, what is your take? We're looking at this footage. We just got this just in here. Let me see if I can bring that shot up real quick. This is Pentagon deploying approximately 700 U.S. Marines to Los Angeles to support National Guard operations amid protests against Trump's immigration enforcement policies. What's your take on CNN's reaction to this?
Well, CNN says there's nothing wrong with waving a Mexican flag, right? Mexico flag while you're invading our National Guard, while you're invading Homeland Security, while you're invading Gavin Newsom's California Highway Patrolmen, while you're invading the LA County Sheriff's Department and the LAPD. This is not just a moral issue. This is a violation of the Espionage Act. Okay, and it's criminal, and it doesn't matter if you're paid or volunteer. The fact that you're trying to influence American policy with foreign ideas, meaning that if Mexico sends in bad people, we have to take it. Otherwise, we're gonna riot you. We're gonna protest you. We're gonna burn the American flag. We're going to go ahead and tear your city down and burn it to the ground, and we're going to wave our Mexican flag. Well, guess what? That's a violation of Foreign Registration Act. That's a violation of the Espionage Act. That's a violation. That's the real violation that this Foreign Registration Act needs to be held accountable for, trying to influence our way of life. When our way of life is the America First agenda. That's why we had millions of people from California all the way to South Carolina, from coast to coast. They all voted for President Trump for 4 more years, right? And that's how the Trump is carrying out his agenda. And all these people are here. They're here as a group, just like we see it at Harvard University. They're Harvard University students are really they're foreign agents that are from Iran, and they're from Qatar, they're from the Middle East, and they're trying to impose our way of life. And they're going to shut us down, shut down our universities because they don't want us to support Israel. It's the exact same thing with the people from Mexico that are coming here illegally, and they're shutting down and they're disrupting, and they're working with nonprofits and to step in and to cause a disruption of our flow of government. This is a violation of Foreign Registration Act. And what I think the President Trump needs to do is he needs to not only lock these thugs and these gangsters, these foreign agents up, but literally send them to prison for 15 years and charge them $250,000 each. And after they're done with their time, then send them to Guantanamo Bay, where they don't even have the right and the freedom to go and
Did we lose? We lost Michael. We lost the feed. But Michael definitely is on point there. There needs to be some very strong punishment for these paid protesters. Now watch, here's some more footage as they burn and spit on our flag while chanting obscenities about President Trump. Watch.
This is not just a good gesture. This is something we need to make real. We need to bring down this empire once and for all. All right. Burn it down! Burn it down! Burn it down! Burn it down! Make it great like 92! Make it great like 92! Make it great afraid of you! Make it great like 92! Make it great like 92! Make it afraid of you! Makes me afraid of you! Fuck ice! Fuck ice! Fuck ice! Fuck ice! Fuck ice! Fuck ice! Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! Fuck the system! Fuck the system! Fuck the system! Fuck the system! Burn it down! Burn it down! Burn it down! Make it great like 92! Make it great like 92! Ice, we ain't afraid of you! Ice, we ain't afraid of you! All right, repeat after me. It is right to rebel! It is right to rebel! Ice can't go to hell! Ice can't go to hell!
Burn it down, they chant. Make it great like 92. These aren't protesters, they're enemies of America, and that's what they do to brave officers. Watch.
Get down! Get down!
Oh! Oh, he got fucked. Oh! Fuck yeah! Oh my God, he got fucked. Oh, he's fucked. Gotcha, bitch!
Throwing rocks at cops' heads, forcing injured officers to take shelter. Where's the wall-to-wall media coverage? Where's the outrage? Nowhere, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Now, we have a supercut we're going to play. Michael, did we get Michael back? Michael, real quick, wrap up with your final thought before we move on to the next segment here. Oh, hang on. We're waiting to get Michael's signal back. We lost it earlier. Okay, so while we're getting Michael back, I'm going to go to the Supercut. It shows the full scope of the Anarchy on June 7th. It's basically the best advertisement for mass deportations ever filmed. Watch.
Okay. Yes, we're showing you now is moving, even though protesters are trying to stop it from moving. So we don't know if this is... Get down, fool, get down, get down.
Yes, but if you just squint,
It could easily be the BLM protesters or the Free Palestine protesters or the Resist Doge protesters or the Resist ICE, in this case, protesters.
Okay, we're going to bring Michael on in just a second because we got this clip here of LA Mayor Karen Bass. She loses it when confronted with polling showing Americans support Trump's deportation policy. Her response? Denial of reality. Complete. Watch.
Are Democrats out of touch on this issue?
Well, I think if you did the polling in Los Angeles, I'm not sure it would be that way, considering we are a city of immigrants. And then people might approve that policy, but do people really approve the federal government coming in and seizing power from a state and from a city? So I drilled down a little further on that poll because I do not believe that Americans support the federal intervention in a city takeover or a state takeover.
We're a city of immigrants, she says, while our city burns. This is Democrat delusion in real time. Michael, what are your final thoughts on this?
Yes, so thank you for bringing me back on again. All right, here's the bottom line. The immigrants in Compton, in Inglewood, in Long Beach, that's working endless 16, 20 hours a day, working just above $1 minimum wage every single day without health care, without benefits. I can guarantee you not a single worker that's here illegally is rioting on the streets. No, they're working or they're hiding. The people that are out to protest are not concerned families. They're people who are organized criminals who are running an enterprise for their own gain, directed by a foreign adversary or a foreign principle or foreign ideologies. These people that are roaming the streets, that are throwing rocks at police, they're just upset and they're frustrated and they're confused. And they're confused because they feel that the system is rigged against them. Well, guess what? It is. It's because they live in a sanctuary city where everyone is a priority over you. And being Black, being Hispanic like myself, being born in Los Angeles, it's a disadvantage. And they're just taking out their frustration on the system. But what they don't realize is that taking out their frustration on Homeland Security is actually, we're the good guys. We want to get rid of these illegal immigrants so that way born in America is not a disadvantage. Because when you go to work in LA, when you go to work in Compton, Skidrow, or the streets off of Martin Luther King or Alameda, you got to speak Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish fluently, read and write, you don't have a job. And all they're doing is these organizers are pandering to the uneducated and the disruptors and the violent people, and they're marching in these hot spots and these hot zones where crime is going to explode and erupt. And all these police officers and all these federal agents and all these Marines and Coast Guards, these people have come everywhere but this city, and they don't understand it. They're just showing up and seeing how they can get everything intact and organized. I'm not too sure if that is necessarily the best plan. I think the best plan is accountability measures to the city officials who are elected. If they don't get behind the law, you're going to jail. And you're not going to jail tomorrow. You're going to jail right now. We're putting cuffs on you. And I think that as soon as that message is addressed greatly and strongly addressed, then the people in the local law ordinance and law enforcement, they'll able to clean up their own city. And we don't even need all this extra resources that coming in. But hey, let's just see how crazy it gets, But I think the bottom line is, if I was in the ear of the president of the United States, President Trump, I would tell him, knock off the nonsense. Let's start putting these city council members and the chiefs behind jail, and because they need to be held accountable for letting this get out of hand. And there's obviously some type of exchange back to the community that accountability measures will go unaccounted for if you go ahead and cause harm. So, and if those conversations are being taken place, then people need to go to jail. And that starts from the top, because no one's above the law. And the president needs to now get serious, get real, and start busting these criminals, starting with these elected leaders who doesn't love America, doesn't love freedom.
Michael, we're looking at a real-time shot here. This was published 8 minutes ago by Edward Zoll, who's on the street. LAPD, pre-stage and on standby with up-armored vehicles and officers in tactical gear. So we'll be checking in with Ed's feed throughout the evening.
And really quick, if they're out there, and that's outside the courthouse, okay? That's right outside the district attorney's office. That's right outside of the local city council members. So how are these organizers and these protesters are having access in and out of these people who are supposed to bring accountability to disruptors and violent protesters? How are they supposed to walk so freely in and out of these offices and go unchecked? Okay, I think the FBI needs to step in immediately and see who is going into these offices, what conversations are being had, and what people that are coming out of the office and telling the criminals in the street of what they can do and what they can't do, and waiting on orders to take out to continue to carry out acts of terrorism. Okay, the FBI needs to immediately subpoena every single county camera, every single record, who's going in and who's going out, who's continuing to go in and out to communicate, and we stop the violence right there. And whoever elected official is meeting with these protesters and community organizers, they need to go to jail. That's it. Lock the key and send them out. Don't even put them in LA County Prison. I don't want them to continue to coordinate with criminals working within the jail cell to continue to carry out havoc. Because we all know these criminals in LA have cell phones and they have internet access and they're sleeping around like violence we've never seen. We need to send the elected leaders who are carrying out these acts of violence, who are carrying out acts of terrorism against our country, and they got to go to Guantanamo Bay or somewhere else out of the state of California, and they need to be arrested immediately. And so we really need to, again, stop this from happening. And as soon as we know, like, who is coordinating what effort, and we're going to know clearly, because these protesters are hanging around the people who's going to decide if they're going to go to jail, if they're going to get prosecuted or not. If I know I'm not going to get prosecuted and I have nothing to lose, and somebody's paying me $1,000 a day to go ahead and cause disruptions, well, I'm going to burn it down. And you know, Kash Patel, let me tell you, my friend, Kash Patel, I love him. He's a great guy, and he's the right guy for the job. But you know as well as I know, when we worked this Trump campaign, these protesters would come in, they were busting out of state, across lines, right there in Chicago, and they were being paid for, and they knew that there was an army of attorneys ready to defend them and to bust them out of jail. And so if there are 501c3s that are lined up, ready to go to step in, well, the FBI needs to go ahead and knock on every single door of that 501c member and needed to throw them in jail. That 501c needs to be dismantled. They need to trace that money and where it's coming from, what foreign adversary, and we need to go after that foreign bank. We need to go after those foreign actors and throw them in jail, because enough is enough. The American people has elected President Trump to go in there and to clean house and to deport all these illegal criminals. But that's not enough for me, folks. We all want to see this criminal enterprise to be demolished. And how you demolish it? You have to go ahead and censor the elected leaders who are coordinating, who are collaborating with these violent actors. These people are not for America. These people are here for disruptance because they have a socialist world order that we don't want to play by anymore. And that's why we elected President Trump. And I'm telling you, it's really simple. How is it how is it that you have protesters that are going in and out of elected office in and out all day, talking and communicating, sharing and updating, while at the same time they're playing good cop and bad cop. Oh, Trump this or Trump that. You know what? We need to know exactly who's going into that office. And I think that the FBI needs to wise up, and we need to not trust them, and we need to subpoena them, and we need to hold them accountable. That one needs to be done. I am tired of hearing about ideology BS talk. We need to go ahead and start subpoenaing these people. And as soon as the mayors know that the feds are coming after them and they're going to start looking into them if they're doing anything that's shady, then guess what? Everything is going to fall back in line. And I think that's the hard line we need to draw in the sand. And that's what President Trump needs to deliver on now.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of the Raw Feed with your insights. Very valuable. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All the best.
All right, that was Michael Alfaro. As you can tell, he's got some deep insights and some very strong positions, and I think he's definitely onto something. Subpoenaing every single elected official, see who's communicating with who, see where the 501c3s, who they're talking to. These are not organic protests by any stretch at all. I mean, look at this Craigslist ad right here. You can see it. The LA riots are not organic. They're orchestrated, well-funded chaos. Looking for the toughest badasses in the city. Seeking extremely tough, brave men for a new crew I'm building. Compensation $6,500 to $12,500 per week. We're forming a select team of the toughest dudes in the area. This is on Craigslist. This unit will be activated only when the situation demands it, but you get paid every week no matter what. High pressure, high risk, no room for hesitation. We need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress and are basically all-around kick-ass dudes. Now, there's a point in this ad, I think I can, if it says here at the bottom, it says here, we're recruiting those who are hard, badass, ready for confrontation when necessary, and will train you if necessary. I mean, it even says in the ad, now this is not the full, there's another part of the ad that's not here. I saw another version that said that they're looking for people that are not afraid to confront the military. That's where we're at here. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. So what we're witnessing in Los Angeles isn't just random violence. It's the deliberate destruction of American civilization by Democrats who refuse to enforce our laws. When professional anarchists can torch $600,000 vehicles, loot businesses at will, and assault innocent Americans while carrying foreign flags, we're not looking at protests. We're looking at an invasion. The LAPD chief admitted these are organized agitators who travel from riot to riot. So where is the FBI investigation? Of course, Michael is saying we need to have it. And I agree. Where's the RICO prosecution? It's nowhere. It's because the Democrats want the chaos. They need to distract from their own failures. They need it to stop the Trump agenda. Karen Bass says LA is a city of immigrants while it burns. Gavin Newsom waits 2 days before acting. This is intentional negligence. So here's my question. Should Trump invoke the Insurrection Act and send in the Marines today? I mean, he's already got them there. How many more does he need? While LA burns, you can protect yourself. Grab some exclusive Next News gear at our merch shop. It's linked down below.